Your results tell the truth about your effort and your intellect. So a person could be a hard worker and still have bad results. If you're working really hard on the wrong things, you really make your life worse, you know? I think there's no getting around that equation of like your results tell the truth about your intellect, you know, your effort and your intellect. Yeah, you have any thought on that or analog stories? You got a better model?
No, that's one of the main principles of my life. I think people make a mistake all the time. They fail, so the results are the greatest indicator of if you're completing your mission or not. But then they want to point out, yeah, but I was doing X, I was doing Y, I was doing Z, as if that should be a way of admonishing, like, okay, the results don't matter. I know I failed, but look, I did all this, so give me the win. It's like, that's not how life works.
If you don't have $1 million yet, you're living a much lesser life than what could be easily available to you with the right guidance. My head coach has freed up a few spots in his calendar to hold one-on-one strategy calls with the highest quality applicants. If you're doing well already and you're looking to accelerate your momentum and do even better, click the link in the description now and apply for your strategy session. More at the end of this video.
And you know, I thought that I had a lot recently, Frank, is that I made this comment a couple times on here, but I'm curious your take on it. I've been thinking a lot this year, 2024, kind of had this thought click in my head in December or January, something like that. That your results tell the truth about your effort and your intellect. And, because if a person might be working really hard and they're just a dumbass. And maybe they're a dumbass because, they're just young and naive and haven't had good coaching or good training. Or maybe they're just a dumbass permanently and, regardless of good coaching and good training, they're a persistent dumbass, So a person could be a hard worker and still have bad results. If you're working really hard on the wrong things, you really make your life worse, If you're working hard on the right things, then obviously you make your life a lot better. But I think there's no getting around that equation of like your results tell the truth about your intellect, your effort and your intellect, or your intellect and your effort, how smart you are and how much you've been working. Yeah, you have any thought on that or analog stories? You got a better model?
No, that's one of the main principles of my life. I think people make a mistake all the time. They fail, so the results are the greatest indicator of if you're completing your mission or not. But then they want to point out, yeah, but I was doing X, I was doing Y, I was doing Z, as if that should be a way of admonishing, like, okay, the results don't matter. I know I failed, but look, I did all this, so give me the win. It's like, that's not how life works. Obviously, hard work, effort, technical knowledge, all the different pieces that are leading up to what you're doing have to be analyzed and looked at. But the results are the indicator whether you pass the test or not. If you won, you can't sit there and come home to I can't imagine thousands of years ago, I come home to my wife and go, hey, I did everything right. I brought my spear. I had the guys with me. We cornered the woolly mammoth, but he got away. So now you're not hungry anymore, right? Because I told you I did everything the right way. Your hunger is full. It's like, well, no, honey, I'm still starving. You didn't bring home the meat. Now, that being said, to me, looking at the process is just for you to break down why you're succeeding or why you're failing. And if you succeed, it also works both ways. There's times people succeed and I say, hey, that's great. You succeeded, but you succeeded because of talent or luck. You might want to go ahead and not base that because it's not going to be consistent. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to go back and look at that and evaluate that. Yeah, you might have succeeded, but that's not just, you want to look at the process and can you replicate that and repeat it and improve upon what you're doing. So again, it's both pieces, but at the end of the day, results are what matter. You either win or you don't. But the process, is what you can focus on. It's what you can control. So that's why you want to focus on that. But you can't ever use the process as an excuse for why you failed. And people do it all the time. They sit there, it'd be like if my son came to me and he comes home and he's drunk. I'm like, son, you're drunk. You drove home. What are you doing? Oh, Dad, I only had one beer. I'm like, so now you're trying to tell me, well, I did the right thing. I drank one beer in 2 hours. I should be okay. I'm like, no, you're not. You failed the test. You came home drunk. I don't give a shit if you had one beer or 500 beers. If you're not sober, you're not sober and you drove behind the wheel. But then people, again, that's their mindset. Well, I did the right thing. I just got the bad results. that's a conversation we can have, but it's not justification. That's not good enough. Results are what matter as far as at the end. The process is just for you to break down and figure out how to go and improve yourself and how to continue to get results or how to fix results you don't like.
I had a separate thought along those lines of, because I had a kind of a humorous thought where you're like, what if the kid says, but Dad, I've been driving sober 98% of the week.
Yeah.
I had a separate thought some time ago that like, what if you do the right thing like 95% of the time? You do the perfect thing 95% of the time. You do everything perfect, textbook, everything's beautiful. And only 5% of the time, like you close your eyes while driving and just spin the wheel in a random direction. Would that be like a great outcome, folks? Would that lead you to a successful outcome? Like, no, you just die.
Your analogy you told me the one time about the cookies and like how much fecal matter is acceptable. You know what I mean? If it's 99.9% no shit in that cookie batter, are you okay with that? I'm like, it's only 0.0. I'm like, holy cow, yeah.
I say that about water all the time.
Yeah,
this water is nice and clear. I can see through the bottle. I can see the light through the bottle. And I just prefer water like without fecal matter versus.
100%.
I got a couple rabbits in the other room, and anytime I've contemplated like what is the ideal amount of bunny turds I should add to the water. There's some, they make some fresh bunny turds for me every day, and I just never put any in there, And maybe I'm missing out, but I prefer water without bunny turds. I prefer to have water with no poop in it, and somebody else maybe they like 2% poop. I don't know. Good for you if that's what you're into, but most people tend to prefer just fresh water, just nice clean fresh water. And I always use that as an analogy about their social circle, because people they keep a couple of shithead friends around, So it was my college roommate. It's the kid that I grew up with. We grew up in the same neighborhood. We know each other forever. I mean, is that a great excuse to have shitbags and losers and detractors and poisoners in your life? It's a terrible excuse. Yeah, the losers in your life are grandfathered in, but you're still hanging out with losers, and you're going to be like the people you spend time with. It's just how humans are. There's no way around that. You will be like the people you spend time with. So if you spend time with people that are industrious and productive and engage in in championship type habits, you're likely to have more champion qualities about yourself. And if you hang out with people that are drunk and high and doing that much, then you're probably also going to be drunk and high and doing that much. That's just how life is.
As a father now, I realize the value of that statement, how important it is. There's different things you can change. Like, okay, you change your sleep pattern, you improve upon that. There's always things we can constantly always improve upon. If there's one thing that I wish my children always excel at, that they hit it 100%, that I think is such a valuable asset to whether you succeed or fail in life, is who you surround yourself with. It truly is. I'm very much of a lone wolf most of my life. Even my closest of friends I don't talk to for once every 6 months at times. So I never realized the value of who you surround yourself with is immense. It's unbelievable, whether it's someone you're dating or married to or a best friend or friends, acquaintances, you name it, business partners. All your relationships, those individuals might have one of the single strongest, most profound impacts on whether you succeed or not. I see it all the time now as a fighter. You look around and go, a guy failed. If he has a bad influence in his life, somebody who's okay with him fucking not showing up or giving excuses or makes it hard for him, man, that is almost a guaranteed failure.
People ask me sometimes, like, you lost so much weight, blah, blah, blah. A funny one, they say, you got so big. I'm like, no, I lost 50 pounds.
It's amazing.
I didn't get bigger, I just have a bit more definition. Most of the muscle I had was there before. I added a bit of muscle, but most of the muscle I had was already there. I lost 50 pounds. So I actually got smaller. But people say, you're more fit and blah, blah, blah. What kind of diet did you go on? I never went on a diet. You ever hear me talk about a diet this past couple of years? I never went on a diet. But it made me a little more mindful. Who am I spending my time with as well? I got a bunch of world champion athletes around me, 2/3 of the year, I'm spending the day having my meals and spending my days with, a bunch of world champion athletes. So I think about Lyoto that way, Lyoto Machida or Rich Franklin, who are both, they have high quality habits,
Meticulous.
Yeah, they have high quality habits, and Rich is a couple of years older than us, and says he never had any alcohol in his life. So I never had drugs or alcohol. So why would I start using drugs or alcohol? And the guy eats mostly meat. He eats a little few veggies or something, but eats plenty, but doesn't overeat. And he's in his late 40s, and 8% body fat, 7 point something, 8. Leota will come over here, be 7% body fat. Also a couple of years older than me. And I looked at those guys when I was 20% body fat. I was thinking, well, probably if I just ate more like that, I might be looking more like that. And it didn't take a lot of extra thought or a lot of just like, well, maybe I shouldn't eat the last 300 calories on the plate right now. I don't really need it. I'm eating it for comfort or entertainment, not for nutrition. So maybe I just leave that there for now. And just little things like that, if I'm hanging out with a bunch of fatties, I'd probably still be a fatty.
Okay with it, absolutely.
Yeah. But, those little things rub off on you that, the same way they ask me about, finance or ask me about different business questions. You want to be around people strategically. I don't have any accidental friends. And some people are offended when I say, oh, that's so mean or some shit. No, it's not mean. It'd be mean to myself to be hanging out with a bunch of random assholes. Mm-hmm. I'd be being mean to myself. Like, I have 0 accidental friends. Anyone I spend time with, I understand what my role is, what I'm supposed to be doing for them. They have a good sense of what they're supposed to be doing for me. We're helping each other. We're going to be useful to each other. I only want relationships that are going to be very win-win. They'd be very mutually beneficial. I want them also to be organic. I want there to be an organic, natural overlap of interests and goals. And I think it's very important to structure your social life that way. That you can't have. I love to accumulate resources. I love to accumulate intellectual resources. I like to accumulate financial resources. I'm kind of a hoarder of resources. I really like it. So imagine if I had a woman in my life that wanted to donate money all the time. I'd have to donate her somewhere, so she'd be gone quick. So
it's true. I mean, the knowledge that people talk about, the old uses as well. Water seeks its level. And it's like, if you think about what you're saying, it's not that it's a random thing that you just happen to find the people. It's not an accidental thing. You're not finding the people that are your comfort level. Water seeks its level. You're going to look for people that you feel most comfortable with, that you want to be like, which means you're either going to rise up and see that you want to be a certain level and you're going to go seek it. Or what a lot of people do, the mistake they make, is that they're around somebody who's fit, they're around somebody who's got money, that works hard, and they make them uncomfortable. So instead of that being uncomfortable, where I looked over, like when about a year ago, I came over and I looked over and you had dropped 10% body fat. I'm like looking at the scale, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Okay, I can't allow this to be that, I do this for a living. What the hell? Like, oh man, I need to get my shit together. So instead of me going, well, you know what? Probably be easier if I just don't come over anymore. I don't look at that and see, and it's out of mind, that I don't have to hang out with somebody who's pushing themselves to be leaner, that isn't just naturally just shredded, right? I'm like, oh. But instead, I was like, oh, I actually want to be that way too. So every time I show up and get on the scale, I look at it, I can see improvement and see that I'm also chasing to be comfortable or to be at a better level of myself. But most people, this is a mistake you guys make. You escape from and avoid people that make you uncomfortable, that are of higher excellence than you do. So instead of you pushing yourself, you eliminate them from your life. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to be, some people want to be the poorest guy in the room. They want to be I want to step on a mat and be the least dangerous guy, knowing that, like, man, everybody here's going to push me. Jesus, this is going to be hard. Most people are like, no, this isn't cool. I'm going to go to a different gym where I'm the baddest, or I'm going to go to a different area where I have the most money, or I'm the guy that, I go over here where I'm more comfortable because I can't stand other people excelling above me. And I can't stand it either. But how you approach it is totally different. I'll surround myself with people that are sharp. Jake, now with jiu-jitsu, we're doing stuff on the ground. He had some positions solid. I was like, wow, I forgot about that detail. Man, when are you coming back? Let's be here again. Let me go over this. So I want to, you just made me realize I had a hole here and I had a hole here. And I didn't sit there and go, well, let me get rid of you. I don't want you to be around because you make me look silly. Instead, I'm like, show me what mistake I'm making again. Like, I see that I'm making a mistake here. What do you see? Show me.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.